Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Ernst Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our video. The NFL has been insane to try to predict this season. So many teams go out there one week and beat a team you're not expecting them to beat, and then the very next week lose to a team that you thought they should. It's happening every single week with tons of teams, even teams that are really solid. They even have a slip up or two. And with all the injuries going on in the NFL right now, it makes it even tougher to predict. But I'm going to take my best crack at it for the Week 9 games in the NFL, and I'm going to preview and predict every single game and see which team I think will win. On Thursday Night Football, on Prime Video, you have the Tennessee Titans, who are 3-4, traveling on the road to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 4-3. Now, Tennessee, they've been struggling this year with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, but he got injured, and in came Will Levis for the Titans, and he threw 4 touchdown passes last week in the Titans win over the Atlanta Falcons. That was a very impressive performance for the rookie, and I don't think many people were expecting him to play that well. Kenny Pickett's been banged up for Pittsburgh, but it does look like he will play in this game. But with him not probably being 100%, that might affect his play, especially him running the football, because his legs are very important to the Pittsburgh offense. Both teams have been inconsistent, but I really like the way Will Levis looked last week, and as long as DeAndre Hopkins is okay, he was a bit banged up, but he should play as well. I think Tennessee might be able to win again. Derrick Henry's still really solid on the ground. He's actually been playing better the last couple weeks. I'll go with Tennessee to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road in a tough environment, 24-21 on Thursday Night Football. Then to move on to the Sunday games, we have the return of Sunday morning football. Instead of it being in London, though, now it is in Germany. You've got the Miami Dolphins, who are 6-2, playing the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 6-2. This could be the game of the week in the NFL. Both of these teams are talented. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are fantastic targets for Tua Tagovailoa, who has been playing great football after the season he had last year where he couldn't stay healthy. He's been healthy this year. He's been playing great football. Raheem Mostert's been a good running back for Miami. Kansas City, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes are still playing well. But the Chiefs did hit a skid last week, losing to the Denver Broncos. That was a surprising loss. I was not expecting that, but Kansas City just did not look good in that game from the jump. They probably will bounce back and play better. This game could go either way. It's a coin flip probably to most people, and it's going to be even more interesting because this game isn't in Arrowhead, even though it says it's at Kansas City. Like I said, it's in Germany, so that makes the dynamic more tough and trying to figure out whether that's going to help Miami or Kansas City out more. But I'm going to go with Miami to beat Kansas City 31-28. I think they're playing a little bit better on offense right now, and I feel like they might be able to get a big win against Kansas City, who just suffered a tough loss. Then move on to the Sunday afternoon games. You got the Minnesota Vikings traveling to the Atlanta Falcons. Now, Kirk Cousins is out for the season. That's a tough blow to the Vikings. He was actually playing well, even without Justin Jefferson, but now that he's out, they brought in Joshua Dobbs from the Arizona Cardinals. That's going to be interesting to see if he will start for Minnesota. He should, since they're bringing him in. Jaron Hall, he's a rookie out of BYU, but I do think Joshua Dobbs will start. Desmond Ritter's questionable for the Falcons because he got banged up last week and had a concussion. Some people thought he was benched, but the head coach for the Falcons said that he actually was injured. He probably will play in this game. Both teams have had their ups and downs. That's why they're 4-4. They've won some games and lost some games. Atlanta struggled on offense more than Minnesota has, especially when Kirk Cousins was playing well. But now that he's out, I think Atlanta's defense will be enough to slow down Joshua Dobbs. I'll go with the Falcons to beat the Vikings 21-17. Then you got the Arizona Cardinals traveling to the Cleveland Browns. Clayton Tune could be the starting quarterback for Arizona this week now that Joshua Dobbs is gone, but also Kyler Murray has been rumored he could return as well, which is probably a big reason Arizona did trade Joshua Dobbs, because of the fact that they feel that Kyler Murray will be able to return soon. Whether he plays or not in this game, though, he's going to be rusty if he does return, and if he doesn't, Clayton Tune, being a rookie out of Houston, I just don't think that he's going to be able to lead the Cardinals to victory. Cleveland, Deshaun Watson's still questionable, but PJ Walker's been doing enough for the Browns to get some wins, and their defense has been doing just enough. I'll go with the Cleveland Browns to beat the Arizona Cardinals 24-14. Then you got the Los Angeles Rams traveling to the Green Bay Packers. The Packers started out 2-0. They were looking pretty good. A lot of people were on the Jordan Love train, but the Packers have just completely fallen off a cliff. They lost 5 games in a row. Los Angeles hasn't been much better. They've lost their last 2 games after starting out 3-3. But Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua are both questionable, but they should play in this game. Stafford, it's a bit more questionable. Brett Ripien would have to play if Stafford can't, but I do think Stafford will return. But Green Bay's been so inconsistent with Jordan Love. They have not played well the last few weeks, and even though it's in Lambeau Field, I'll go with the Los Angeles Rams to get back on track with a 28-21 win over the Green Bay Packers. Then you have the Washington Commanders at the New England Patriots. This is a tough game because because the Patriots are 2-6 on the season, but they got that big win over the Bills. But other than that, they've had a pretty awful year, whereas Washington have had a couple of tough performances, but they did play well against the Philadelphia Eagles both times, and if they could have won both those games, they'd be 5-3 right now, but they just fell short in both games against Philadelphia. I think Washington's been playing better all around the New England, but with it being in Foxborough and the fact Mac Jones looked a little bit better, especially against the Buffalo Bills, I think this will be a tight game, but I'll go with the Commanders to sneak out a win 24-21 at the New England Patriots. Then you got the Chicago Bears traveling to the New Orleans Saints. The Bears are 2-6 and the Saints are 4-4. Justin Fields is still questionable with his thumb injury. A lot of people aren't sure if he's going to play. Tyson Bagent, he was a guy that a lot of people were high on after he got the big win for the Bears 2 weeks ago, but they lost last week. He threw a couple of picks. Maybe that's him coming back down to earth. New Orleans has Derek Carr back and healthy, and the Saints have a really good defense. They're at home. I just don't see the Chicago Bears having enough offense, whether Justin Fields or Tyson Bagent plays. I'll go with the Saints to beat the Bears 28-14. Then you've got the Seattle Seahawks traveling to the Baltimore Ravens. This could be a really good game right here. The Seahawks are 5-2. The Ravens are 6-2. And I've well documented how good Seattle's offense is. I think Geno Smith's a good quarterback, but he's got a lot of talent around him. Kenneth Walker, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf. They make an insane quartet of players around Geno Smith on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense isn't too bad as well, but Baltimore had a great performance against the Lions. They also got a win last week as well. I like the way the Ravens are playing. They've been playing better football the last few weeks. Lamar Jackson's been putting up some of the best stats of his entire career, and with it being at home, I will go with the Ravens to beat the Seahawks 31-24, but this could be one of the best games of the Week 9 slate. Then you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to the Houston Texans in the final game of the 1 o'clock window. Houston looked pretty good to start the year, and C.J. Stroud's playing great football, but they slipped up last week, losing to the Carolina Panthers, giving the Panthers their first win of the season, and Bryce Young his first win as an NFL quarterback. Tampa Bay's been up and down. They're 3-4 on the year, haven't been playing great football. Baker Mayfield's been banged up, but it does look like he's going to play through his injury because he is questionable right now, but it does seem he'll play. I do think that's going to affect the Tampa Bay offense, but Houston, I just don't trust the way they've been playing lately. They're starting to show some cracks all around. I will go with the Tampa Bay Bucks to pull out a win over the Houston Texans, 21-20. And speaking of the Carolina Panthers, you've got the 1-6 Panthers playing at home against the Indianapolis Colts, who are 3-5. The Colts have been a rough defensive team this year. They've been giving up a ton of points to almost every team that they played this year. That could not get the win against the New Orleans Saints last week, and they have been backsliding the last few weeks. Gardner Minshew's trying, but he's throwing a lot of picks with Anthony Richardson out for the season. Carolina got a big momentum-building win against the Houston Texans last week, and that might carry over again. Bryce Young has been looking more comfortable the last couple weeks, and I know a lot of people still don't think he's playing at the level C.J. Stroud has been playing at. If you look at his stats, the last 4 weeks have been much better than the first couple weeks he was playing in the NFL. The Panthers do have protection issues, and they do have a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball, but with it being at home, I'll go with the Carolina Panthers to win 2 in a row and get a win over the Indianapolis Colts 21-20. Then you've got the New York Giants traveling to the Las Vegas Raiders. Daniel Jones looks like he'll be back in this game, and Saquon Barkley is a really good running back, but the Giants have been struggling on defense, and even with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley when they're both playing, their offense just can't get anything going with a very porous offensive line. The Raiders are not a great defensive team, so I think that will help out the Giants on offense, but Vegas does have weapons on the offensive end with Devontae Adams. Hunter Renfrow hasn't had as good of a year, but he's still a good player, and Jimmy Garoppolo, as long as he doesn't make mistakes, I think that the Raiders can pull this one out. I'll go with Las Vegas to beat the New York Giants 21-17. Then you got another potential headline game in the Week 9 NFL slate. You got the Dallas Cowboys traveling to the Philadelphia Eagles. This could be a fantastic one as long as Dallas plays well. That's the issue with the Cowboys. They're very inconsistent. Some weeks they ball out and play like one of the best teams in the league, and other weeks they just really play poorly and they do not play to their talent level. But going on the road to Philadelphia is really tough because the Eagles are a good team. They're 7-1 on the year. Philadelphia hasn't been perfect. They've had some bad performances, but Jalen Hurts is playing good football. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown have been great, especially A.J. Brown this season, putting up insane stats week in and week out. And the Eagles have a pretty good defense. I think Dak Prescott's the key for Dallas. He has to play a mistake-free game, and Dallas has to establish the ground game if they want to have any shot. I think it'll be a good game, but I'll go with Philadelphia to win at home over the Dallas Cowboys, 31-24. I think the Eagles might just be a little too much for the Cowboys. Then to move on to the Sunday night football game, you've got the Buffalo Bills, which is a team I have not been able to figure out this season, traveling to the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 4-3. This could be a solid game as well. Buffalo has been up and down all year. They look great against against the Miami Dolphins, but they've had some poor performances, including that loss to the New England Patriots. The Bills play like they did against Miami, they'll win this game. If they play like they did against the Patriots, they won't win this game. Josh Allen's been up and down as well. He's also been banged up a bit, but he's still putting up pretty good stats. Joe Cool for the Bengals has been playing much better lately. He's looking better since he's been getting healthier. Jamar Chase is still a great weapon. As long as Joe Burrow does not get banged up in this game and the Bengals can protect him, I think Cincinnati can get another big win. They've been looking better lately. And Buffalo, we just don't know which version of the Bills we're going to get. I'll go with the Cincinnati Bengals to pull out a big home win over the Buffalo Bills, 24-21. But if the Bills play well, they have a really good shot to win. And then to move on to the Monday Night Football game, you've got the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to the New York Jets. The Jets have not been a terrible team this year. They're 4-3. Zach Wilson's been getting the job done for the most part on the offensive side of the ball. But the problem is for the Jets is that their offense still isn't good enough to beat some of the better offensive teams in the NFL. And even though Los Angeles is 3-4, the Chargers have not been living up to expectations, and they've had struggles on offense. But Herbert is a good quarterback, and when he's protected, he can definitely put up big stats. And the defense for the Chargers looked a bit better last week in their win over the Chicago Bears. Granted, it was against the Chicago Bears. This could be a game that's really tight, and I feel like the Jets could be able to get a big win at home with their home crowd on their side. But I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers to move back to 500 on the season. I think they're wanting to get their season back on track. It looked better last week, and I think it will carry over to this week as well with a 28-21 win over the New York Jets. But there are a lot of great matchups in the Week 9 slate in the NFL. The Dolphins and the Chiefs has the potential to be really good. The Cowboys and the Eagles, the Bills and the Bengals. I'm looking forward to all of these football games, and it's been very tough to predict the NFL this season. So many teams have been all over the place with their results, but it has been an exciting NFL season. I can't wait to see what happens the rest of the way. There are 4 teams with buys: the Denver Broncos, the Detroit Lions, the San Francisco 49ers, who really needed this bye because they have lost their last 3 games. We'll have to see if they can get back on track after the bye, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's still 14 great games in the NFL this week, and I'm definitely looking forward to see what happens. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section about the Week 9 games in the NFL and which teams you think will win and which teams you think will lose this week. What game you're looking forward to the most and what you think about my picks for every single Week 9 NFL game. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I'll see you next time.